I've never actually stood back here. My congregation would say that I'm a wanderer. I'm usually down around there, but I'm going to be good and I'm going to stay back here. But welcome, everybody. It's good to see all of you here in our sanctuary, and it's a wonderful meal. The food was amazing, wasn't it? It was great. We are the host congregation, but really this dinner was the Niagara Foundation. We unlocked the doors, and everything you see here is from the Niagara Foundation. And so I want to thank them for a really beautiful meal and a wonderful opportunity to sit around the table and to get to know one another. And so thank you. Abraham is the gentleman, where is he? Oh, there he is. Thank you for all your hard work. So I have only been in Michigan for about 6 weeks, and we literally drove in, my family and I, on New Year's Eve at 7:30 and came to the parsonage, which is just down the street. And Reverend Koki, who was my predecessor here, the interim pastor here at the Church of the Good Shepherd, she had put one date on my calendar for me, and that was this one, this evening. And I'm really glad that she did that. She had already nurtured a relationship with the Niagara Foundation and wanted to pass that on to me, and I appreciate that. But I confess that I was a little ill at ease about speaking tonight. Partly because I'm so new. I'm new to Ann Arbor, new to Michigan, new to the Church of the Good Shepherd, and new to the Niagara Foundation, and I wasn't quite sure what the expectations were. But I was also kind of uneasy about speaking tonight because we live in the United States of America, and we hear a lot of Christians speaking. And I was thinking, do we need another Christian out there speaking? We are the dominant religious voice in the United States of America at this point in time. And I was thinking, wouldn't it be nice for our faithful brothers and sisters in the Jewish faith and the Muslim faith to speak their truth, to speak their faith, and let the Christians listen. And so that was my first instinct. But then I realized that we're not hearing the whole Christian story. That the Christian voice that we hear out in the mass media, that we hear on Fox News, that we hear in the political arena, that's not my Jesus story. And that made me want to speak tonight. See, my Jesus story is different from what you see on the cable news networks and what you see in the Republican primary debates. My Jesus story is different, and I'm a little angry that it's being taken hostage. Just this coming Sunday, we have one of our readings for worship is a story from the Gospel of Mark. It's the last story in the very first chapter of the Gospel of Mark, and Jesus is out there. He's out there traveling around, he's teaching and he's preaching and he's healing, and people are coming to him, and his fame is growing. And then he comes out into the open countryside, and a leper comes to him. So this poor man in the first century had been afflicted by some kind of skin disease that was scary at that time, and lepers were by law required to live outside the cities. They were required because it was contagious, it was disfiguring, people didn't understand, and they were required to live on the outside of society. They were true outcasts. And Jesus is walking in Galilee, and he's there, and this leper comes to him, and he throws himself before Jesus' feet, and he says to Jesus, "If you choose, you can make me clean." And my Jesus said to him, "I do choose. Be made clean." And he reaches out and he touches the leper. My Jesus reaches out and touches the untouchable. My Jesus builds bridges, doesn't entrench divisions. And that's why I wanted to speak. My Jesus story, I think Church of the Good Shepherd's Jesus story, the progressive Christians in our world, we have a story that's not being told in the mass media. And we are minority voices as well. You know, they talk about what would Jesus do these days. You know, they make the bracelets and everything. And I'm pretty sure I know what Jesus wouldn't be doing. Not my Jesus, not the Jesus that touched the leper's face, who broke the law to reach out and touch the untouchable. My Jesus will not be at the protest of soldiers' funerals. And my Jesus will not be here on April 7th in Dearborn, standing next to Pastor Terry Jones, who is threatening to burn the Quran again. My Jesus will not be there, not standing next to him. I believe that if Jesus was alive, if he was here in this day and age, he would be with us in this room. Because my Jesus broke bread with people. He practiced radical hospitality. And he shared stories. He built bridges. He touched the untouchable. That's my Jesus story. And I thank God that I have a new faith home that shares that with me and celebrates that story. And we are going to be telling that Jesus story louder and prouder as we move through these days, weeks, and years ahead. Because I am stubborn. And I'm getting angry. Jesus isn't divisions. Jesus is unity. And that's what I hold tonight, and I hold in my heart, and that's what I've dedicated my life to. So thank you very much for letting me be the minority Christian voice in this world, and thank you for being here tonight.